GG Destins. This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we're going to be talking about none other than what cards to pick up from the EX collection and hold on to because they have longevity for you. So guys, let's dive into the video, shall we? Start this off, shall we? So the first thing we should talk about is like the cards that you should pick up in the commons and rare selection. We'll save options and the Tamer for last, but we're going to be talking about it. And spoiler alert, we had the Tamer in here, but let's go over it. First off, Harguroman's going to be really good going forwards. It is going to be perfect because he's unidentified and he works really well with the Diaboromon line, no matter what. For each of your other Digimon you have in play with the same name as this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. As Diaboromons come out, this card is probably not going to ever go bad. It's a great card regardless. It gets enough power. It just produces so much strength in a swing that it sometimes just gets over everything you need to. So don't sleep on this card. Definitely pick it up. And it is a common, very easy to get, very easy to pull. Next, we have Harguroman. For on play, you may trash one Digimon with Machine or Cyborg in his traits in your hand to draw two. This card is a great card no matter what because this card is going to help with the Machinedramon deck or Mugandramon deck that you will find in this set. But this card alone is great for future support because as long as they keep printing machines or cyborgs, this card will always have a place to be an on-play draw too, which is huge for us because I think that's an amazing play style that we want. We want to be able to have card advantage, and black always needs it sometimes, I gotta say. Gabumon is never going to go bad, in my opinion, because this one, especially once per turn, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add one Tamer or Digimon with Gabumon in its name among them to your hand, and then place the remaining cards at the bottom deck in any order. This helps with bonds of friendship very much so that this card is going to replace probably the, Tamer Searcher, because this at least protects the top 3 when you swing, which is huge for us, and you want to have this card for future sets. This card is never going to see non-competitive play, and I think going forwards with Gabumon decks, you want to have it. Next, we do have Veeamon. When this Digimon becomes unsuspending during your main phase, gain 1 memory. This card is always going to be good, even going into, let's say, set 8. This is a very great card to have because unsuspending your Digimon in the main phase is huge, and gaining that extra memory could cause more swings in. So this Veeamon is really good for the Imperial German deck that you're going to have. So definitely pick up your playset of this rare and hold on to it. And if you have to, just sit on a couple playsets of this. This card's never going to go bad. And when this thing sets off into the sunset and has no longer any more printings, then you show up with it. This card will probably be an expensive card eventually. Next, we do have Agumon. So when attacking, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add one Tamer card or one Digimon with Agumon in its name among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. This card's going to help with bonds of bravery because at least we get to search for the Tamer and stuff like that, and more support coming out for that deck could lead to this card being a very niche uncommon, could reach $2 on its own accord, especially even if you're trying to hunt the alternate art of this thing. Good luck. So definitely pick that up. Next, we do have Bioman. Bioman, surprisingly, its other line isn't that great in this format, but Bioman's great. So when attacking once per turn, when this Digimon attacks a player, draw a card. So you're getting advantage that Red really didn't have before. Now we're getting more and more cards that just say, I'm going to plus you. Let me get this out for you. So at least being able to draw one card is going to make a huge difference. So definitely pick up your Biomons. They're going to be really good in Jesmon for a while. And this card could see competitive play even further down the line when we want more draw support. Next, we have Kurosorimon. So this card is great in Diaboromon. No lie, I'm going to say this right now. Pick it up. You want to have it. So when one of your other Digimon with the same name as this Digimon is deleted, unsuspend this Digimon. So being able to do this once per turn, giving us multiple attacks, is huge. And that is a great option. Even though the level 4 space is getting tighter and tighter every set, they produce a Diaboromon It's just really useful, in my opinion, just to have. So definitely pick up your playset of this, hold on to it, especially if you don't want to play Diaboromon just yet, but this set actually has a really great Diaboromon deck coming out of it. Next, we have EX1. EX1 has jamming. This is huge. And then while this Digimon has Imperial German in his name or free in its traits, gain jamming. So this card is not going to not see play. It's a common, but this card is great with Imperial German going forwards, or if we ever get more free type trait Digimon, we can definitely use this to our advantage. Being able to have jamming with it for one is huge, and then being able to pretty much give your big thing jamming if it's a free type or Imperial German is big for us. That means any other Imperial Germans that come out that don't have jamming on it will have jamming. And that's what we want. We want to be able to multiple swings and not worry about a thing. Next, Ikakumon. Ikakumon's great in the deck that is called Azulonmon Hexablaumon. This card is, this Digimon can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with no Digievolution sources. This allows just a little bit of killing off some stuff that might be a little troublesome later, because you want to board control and you want to punish things off the board. He's a great little card. He's a good side tech. Definitely hold on to him. He's still going to be good going forwards. Let's talk about Stingmon. Stingmon has Pierce, but also while this Digimon has Imperial German in its name or free, it gains Piercing, which we love. Being able to Digivolve on a blue and green Digimon is going to be monumental, in my opinion. There's not going to be a moment where you don't want to give a Digimon Piercing, and having Piercing could mean that we get out an extra attack into security. So, especially when we go into BT8, being able to hybrid link these two in with the trial deck stuff, boom, you get Pierce and jamming. That's going to be nasty, and your opponent just doesn't want to deal with it. Let's talk about Wizardmon here. Wizardmon has Retaliation, boys and girls. All your Digimon with Retaliation gain Rush. As long as they keep printing cards with Retaliation, this card's only going to get better. And when this card becomes out of circulation and out of print, you will have a great card of all your Digimon with Retaliation gain Rush. This card will gain you so much advantage, just because now you put on pressure, you swing in constantly with cards that are being played from your drop very easily. Next, you have Greymon, so you may play one Taikamiya with a play cost 3 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. This is great for the tie itself. Gabumon has one too, but you don't really want to go into it very often. This one you can barely go into anyway, so it really hits or miss, but if they print more ties that give some sort of advantage, this card will be really good. And pick up the Garurumon one as well. Just both are really good ones. Sorry I didn't put this on the list here, but it is a Garurumon in this set, no less. Next, Tyronnamon might seem bad at first, but it's really good. So this gives us the answer we've been waiting for in the form of having a level 4 that can be treated as green or red, so that your Tyronnamon with Taiga, now Christmas Tyronnamon, has some more support. So this card is going to still be good. You want to hold on to this. You want to pick him up. I think he has an alternate art in this set, but hold on to him. You want to get the cards now and hold. This card is not going to go anywhere. This card is, if Tyronnamon keeps getting more support, it's going to do so much more. And what's really nice is if you don't have a Taiga in play, you can play one of your from your hand without paying its memory cost. That's big, because now this card could be just promoted up, Digivolve for 2, play your Taiga, and then go into another Tyronnamon right afterwards for a cheaper cost. And that, my friends, is what we want to do with this card. And it's going to do better and better as more support. We have Master Tyronnamon in the BT08 set. And if they keep printing more Tyronnamon, this card is just going to get better, because while this Digimon has Tyronnamon's name, it gains plus 2000 DP. This helps even Rusty just get those extra swings. So guys, don't sleep on it. Don't let this card slip through your hands. Get yourself a playset. Hold on to it, because eventually Tyronnamon might be an MVP deck that you will regret not having this card, because it is a rare. Next, Androidmon. Just because it's the cyborg type, it does help out. Let's be honest, we just want it all for the cyborgs. So pick up all your cyborgs now, because while this Digimon has machine in his trait, gain reboots, It's all for their inheritables. While this Digimon has Machine, it gains Blocker. This is really just for the Machine Dramon deck, but pick them up, hold on to them. Just have your play sets. They are going to be dirt cheap, but it's all the Machine Dramon, Machine Dramon support. It's just going to get more and more, and you just don't want to not have it. And the same thing with Mega Dramons and then Metal Greymons. Same thing, just pick these up, hold on to them, and don't let them go. Next, Infermon. When an opponent's Digimon digivolves into a level 5 or higher Digimon, gain 1 memory. So this is huge, because now this helps cock your opponent right out of the game if they're trying to do anything funny that could pass it and instantly give you 3. And that might be what you needed to get there. So when your opponent's... But also, all turns this Digimon with the same name as this Digimon gets plus 2,000. So now your Diaboromon tokens get more and more powerful. They get bigger. They start hurting your opponent more because they have likelihood of survival. And it just combos really well. And for this Infermon's not going to go anywhere. It's definitely a good tech card. Pick it up. Don't sleep on it. Next, Edamon is really good. You want to have Edamon because if you want to play the meta Edamon, these two will constantly get more support, and holding on to this card, especially seeing as an uncommon, is going to come harder and harder to get, especially with older sets too. You're going to get harder and harder support. When this Digimon digivolves into a Digimon with Edamon in its name, reduces the memory cost by 1. So your meta Edamons are 2 cost, and even if they give us King Edamon, that probably will become an A3 or 2 cost. So while this Digimon has Edamon in its name, it gains jamming. Now your Edamon can swing in and not worry about dying. That's like the huge thing about Edamon. It was just... Your metal Edamons just didn't have a way of surviving its swings. They either died too easily by security, and you just really hope to get that jamming. Then you have Zudamon here. This Zudamon's nuts for Azulomon and Hexablau, because when digivolving, trash one Digievolution card from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon, which is fine, just for 1. But your turn. This Digimon can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with no Digievolution sources. So he'll remove one, then swing into a rookie, and then you can go into a big guy and just set yourself up. These are great extenders and damage killers just to help slow down the opponent's pace if they're trying to get something bigger. So they only have their rookies on board, and then you just mollywop them right out of it. Next, you have Piledramon. So if this Digimon has free in its trait, which all the evolutionary lines do, so in is Digimon's Digievolution cards, unsuspend this Digimon. This allows you to combo off and get an extra attack in, and then you can Jagras probably too on top of that. So this card's just good for now. I don't see it seeing play once the Jagras stuff comes out, but hey, you never know. This card could see a decent amount of play. While this Digimon has Imperial German in its name, it can't be blocked. And that's huge, because being able to not be blocked means they can't block it, it has jamming, and it has pierce. I don't know what you're going to do with that. Your opponent's just going to cringe and cry. Next, we have Lilymon. When one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, this Digimon gains security +1. So, when one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, gain a security check. This is huge because it's going to be good in future sets when we get more and more cards that just suspend anything. You can just gain extra security checks and start swinging through and just getting clean hits. And that's just what you want to do. And it helps really well with, like, say, Mega Hercules Kabuterimon from the trial deck. It combos really well because you just suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and ta-da! You just swing in with Pierce, and 2 security checks later, they're losing some major advantage. Then we have Dino Beamon. This card's good for this set, and then it just fades off. But a green version of the Imperial German list plays this pretty fine. So if you have a Digimon with free type in its traits, in this Digimon, unsuspend one of your opponent's level 5,000 or less, just to get rid of a small blocker. And then one of your opponent's Digimon, when one of your Digimon with Imperial German in its name deletes an opponent's Digimon by battle, survives, gain a memory. Sometimes gaining that memory will combo us off longer. Next, we do have Myotis Mod. This card is going to help us with Myotis Mod, anything else like that, so pick him up and hold on to him. He's going to help long games, because while this Digimon has Myotis Mod, all your Digimon with Retaliation also can attack unsuspended Digimon. So if you want to go in a Retaliation route, you can do some major damage. Next, we have Skull Greymon. This can help in when we get like a purple red style Agumon build, this card will see major play. It sees some play right now because you want to combo this with this, so you Digivolve and then this pops and then you get an Agumon from your trash. So that's all it's really trying to do. Mega Dramon, as I said, Machine Dramon support, and then Metal Greymon support. Just pick these up. Then you have Metal Edamon, especially because it has on deletion Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Just huge, really good commons and rares for that set. Next, let's talk about the super rares. So pick up your Machine Dramons when you may place. This card is, yes, obviously. Why wouldn't we pick up the secret of the set? Pick up your play sets. This is a great, fantastic deck. There's nothing wrong with this deck. I'm really excited for it. This card across the board is just fantastic, and it's just not going to go anywhere for a while. This card deck, as long as it gets more support, it's just going to clear house and just leave it at that. Next, Metal Garurumon. So when Digivolving, gain 1 memory for every 4 cards in your hand. If you are in a draw-focused build, this Metal Garurumon can keep going in for cheaper. And even with you going in with the Nokias, that can combo off. And this could probably be a free Digievolution eventually. When attacking, if you have 8 or more cards in your hand and a Tamer in play, return one of your opponent's Digimon with on deletion to the bottom of the owner deck. Trash all Digievolution cards. So this helps if we get more and more on deletion big Digimon. But he's a great out for things that are named Untitled Sword Defeat, Millenniumon, stuff like that is just huge that you just want to take care of. Next, you have Imperial German. This one is not going to see much play after this set. Once we get the Jagra stuff, he's just kind of just one of those trade binder things. But for now, he's actually quite good to pick up because, again, he gains some big power and he unsuspends himself. And you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, meaning if you have Pierce with this, you can take out one of their bigger Digimon very easily. Next, Venom Myotis Mod is just great because he's going to be able to play Retaliation Digimon. There are some better Digimon that just does his job better, but if you are focusing on heavy Retaliation, even if we get more in the future, this card's going to be really good because he's just going to combo off that way. Next, War Greymon is just really good. So when Digivolving, he has Blitz, which is really nice. And then when this Digimon attacks a player, if you have a Tamer in play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with Blocker. So it just stops them from being able to block. It's a pseudo version of Shoutmon DX a little bit, but, you know, it's just what it is. Next, Diaboromon. Pick this up because all your Diaboromon get Blocker. That's huge because now your Diaboromons will be able to produce millions of tokens. And boom, you get this. And he's a great security pop Digimon. So definitely pick him up. It's just very important for your Diaboromon style decks. Next, let's talk about the option and then finally the Tamer. So Ultimate Connection, great for Cyborg build, Machine Dramon build. Pick it up as more Cyborg themed decks come out. You'll have a great black option going forwards. Then you have Ice Wall. This card is played in every blue deck under the sun because it's so powerful. All your opponent's Digimon gain when attacking, lose 2 memory until the end of their next turn. So their board is pretty much useless. They can't Digivolve, and unless they are ready to gain a bunch, they're not going to do anything. And then security, gain 2 memory. It's nasty. It's a nasty card. I gotta say, do not sleep on this. And then if you have a Tamer in play, you may use this option. Win rate 60% is huge. The next time one of your Digimon Digivolves this turn, you may trash 1 Digimon card in your hand with the same color as that Digimon, reduce the memory cost by 4. That's huge, guys. This card is pretty much a choice to get your Mega in very easily just for 2, and that might help out win you the game. Don't sleep on this. This is a great card. Just get it and just be happy. So it is a 2 cost. It'll cost you probably maybe 3 if you're playing a 5. It's really good. And think about it as this. EX1 loves this card. Let's talk about Emergency Program Shutdown. Pick this up because your opponent can't use option until the end of their next turn. If heavy option cards are going to be used constantly, you can use this in the security control matchups if your locals is filled with them. Use this real quick, shut them down, and call it a day. You can shut them down for a turn. They can't remove anything. They're really banking on anything because they can't use options until the end of your next turn, which is big. And then your security, your opponent can't use options this turn, and then add this card to its owner's hand. It comes back if it's done like that. That's huge. Next, pick up extreme amount of playsets of this card. This card is never not going to be good, especially since we do have BT7 on the horizon after this. This card is played in too many decks. Too good of a card to not have a playset, boys and girls. Pick it up. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. Grab it, get it, hold on to it. And guys, really do not sleep on this card. What's up, Digidestins? Hopefully you enjoyed the videos. I really do hope the suggestions of what you should pick up for EX collection is really useful, guys. So remember, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!